Welcome back to Two Witches Talking. I'm Megan, and I'm with my lovely co-host, Morgan.
Hello.
Hey, Morgan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You're looking very springy and summery in your blue. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trying to stay cool. I have a skirt on today
Oh,
because
nice.
it's supposed to be, I think 110 today, 112 tomorrow.
Nope. You know what? We're in the 90s with like, I don't know, 75 or 80% humidity, so it probably feels about like that here. Yeah. Our heat index is always like very close to your actual temperature. So,
No, yeah, at
Yeah,
least,
it
at least it is dry here, but
no.
yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. No humidity.
Right, exactly.
How are you doing?
It is the middle of June, so go figure.
Yeah.
I'm good. I am enjoying my AC. I have my new summer uniform, my spring and summer uniform has been linen or cotton blend pants and a shirt without sleeves. And literally, like, I just have different variations of these same items. And it's the best thing on the planet
Yep.
because it's loose fabric
Mm-hmm.
and thin fabric and breathable.
I have found, just for TMI, just for everyone listening, I have found the absolute glory in bamboo undergarments.
Oh, yes.
For cooling.
Yes.
The bamboo does breathe and cool. So
It does.
I do love those very much if anyone's listening and listens, or lives in 100 and whatever degree. The bamboo is very cool. We even have bamboo sheets on our bed.
We do too. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yep, very cooling.
Oh yeah, highly recommend. Especially if you're a lady of a certain age.
Yeah.
And you wake up and throw sheets off of you in the middle of the night. So, yeah.
Yep.
I love it. I feel that deep in my bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But today we're talking about the moon.
Yes.
Moon magic, moon cycles. And this was actually a topic you brought forward a couple weeks ago. And we're just kind of inspired to add it to our list. So I'm excited to see what our spirit guides and the universe has to say about the moon through us.
Yeah, because we have nothing prepared. That's
Nothing.
what the glory of this is.
That's the beauty of this podcast is like very rarely do we actually research anything. We're just kind of like, and we're talking about it.
Yeah. But I love that because that means that, like, we end up, both of us are teachers, both of us, enjoy sharing knowledge. So we end up teaching and everything just in a very laid back way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I started working with the moon, like actually seriously working with the moon about 4 or 5 years ago. And really tapping into each of the phases. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't do like, oh, we're in a waxing crescent or a gibbous, like whatever. I'm just like, okay, here's a good 2 weeks, we're doing this, and then the next 2 weeks we're doing this. But it has been really interesting to kind of tap into those energies. And I've brought it into both my life and my business to actually like help people launch things, or I launch things myself during like the waxing moon phases and around the new moon and all that, because we're all feeling that collective energy, and it's like if the moon can pull the tides of the earth, then its power is pretty massive.
I love that. And I would love to say that I am witchy enough to time product launches with moon phases. I would love to actually be like that. But
Right.
we hold a pretty cool schedule here. So, which we're finally working ahead on.
Yeah.
But for me, I think what I learned I've been working with the moon. I think that's probably the first thing, right? Like, if you're a beginner witch, I think gemstones is like the gateway into witchcraft.
Yeah.
And then I think the next thing is the moon.
It's like maybe this is the full moon, or maybe just the new moon. Like I just started like kind of tapping into like the full moon.
Yeah.
When I was just first starting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so that was that's one of the first practices I did too.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the biggest change has been, or the biggest evolution over the years is, I think when I started out, I used to wait for a specific moon phase for a specific spell.
Yeah.
You know, so like I would wait for a new moon or a waxing moon to do like a money drawing spell. And I just haven't, I'm very impatient.
Yeah. Same.
And I don't like to wait. So I got smart, or I got crafty, I guess. I would say that I look for loopholes in life anyway.
You do. It's that Aquarian energy, I swear. I love it.
So I realized one time that like it was we needed to do a money spell, or I needed to do a money spell, and it was the waning moon. And I'm sitting there like, oh, this is the time when you're supposed to be releasing and you're supposed to be letting go and cleansing, but I need to attract money. Like we had like a bill to pay or something, or we had like a refund that was due and we needed it.
Yeah.
And so I remember going, okay, if I'm supposed to be cleansing and releasing, then I can release obstacles in the way of me receiving the money.
Yes.
And I was like, let's try it. And it worked. Like the money was there. Amazing. I remember this was like a Tuesday and the money was deposited Friday. And so I was like, oh, loophole. I found a loophole in moon magic. You just have to rephrase whatever it is that you're working with. Or whatever your intention is, just rephrase it to work with the moon. And that's what I've done ever since. And I remember, God, we were in England. So this was probably early 2000s. So probably 20 years ago.
That's epic. I love that so much because there's a couple of spells I've like been waiting on for the new moon, which is coming soon. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also impatient. I like the loophole. Yeah. I also like the concept too of removing the obstacles to the thing you want, because I think a lot of times in magic we're very much like, I want the thing, bring me the thing, let's do the thing. And sometimes it might be that we've put up an obstacle, or there is an obstacle in play that needs to be moved, you know, out of the way before we can get it. It's kind of like the road opening. Spells and oils and candles and whatnot. It's like we need to open that flow first to allow that in. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really
my
cool.
favorite. I think I prefer working with the, at least in the last year, I'd say, I prefer working waning moon to dark moon anyway. I just seem to resonate a lot more with it. I think that as I get older, I'm just really wanting to get rid of a lot more bullshit.
Make it go away.
Like I need to be lighter. I don't need all this shit. I don't need all these obstacles, these roadblocks. And so there's a beauty that comes in releasing. But yeah, like you said, I think especially when we're starting out, we want to attract things to us. So I think the waning moon phase goes extremely underrated, because that's when you can release, let go, banish, put bitches into jars, all of that. And those are my favorite things to do.
Yeah. To be fair, you can put bitches in jars whenever you want.
That's true.
Like, it's fine.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, because I definitely feel like the intention in your spell is probably stronger than just the moon being itself. Because, like all things in nature, it's neutral. It's not like good or bad. It just is, right? So, yeah, you know. So feel free to put bitches in jars whenever.
That's just very true.
Yeah, it's just going to be easier. Some of these things like divination, shadow work, banishing, hexing, jar work are going to be easier, I think, in the waning moon and the dark moon phases, because you're not working against such a force in nature.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And the dark moon is something that I just started. I mean, relatively new practice for me, maybe the last year or two. Because a lot of witches don't quite. The dark moon is the day before the new moon, or technically when the moon, like if you're using an app, it'll tell you the moon is 0% in the sky, which generally speaking is when the calendar tells you it's the new moon. But if you're like me, and I'm kind of big on semantics sometimes, when I learned about the dark moon and then you learn about the new moon, like the new moon is 1%, you know, like it's a new moon that's growing.
Yeah.
So if the moon is 0% in the sky, then that's a dark moon. And I was like, but I think it just appealed to my darker side.
Yeah. I like that though.
Yeah.
You know? And there's something to be said for being able to do like secretive magic during that time. Yeah. Yeah. And it also feels to me like a big deep breath. Like it was interesting because the last new moon, I was actually taking groceries out of my trunk and it was about the middle of the day. And I was just like, oh yeah, it's like the dark moon right now. And it just felt very calm. And I was just doing like regular household errand things, but I still was able to tap into that just by acknowledging it.
Yeah, there's a stillness that comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, there's like eclipses and such, which I know we've talked about a lot.
I love doing magic during the eclipse. For those who are new to me, I preach about it all the time. You see a lot on TikTok and, you know, Instagram witches that are like, oh my God, don't ever do magic during eclipse. It's so chaotic. And I teach the opposite. I especially during a lunar eclipse, you have every moon phase in one night. And so therefore any type of magic goes. It does come with a little bit of fun energy. Yeah. It's not a smooth ride.
Right.
During an eclipse. But as long as you understand that, I say go for it.
And seriously, sometimes you got to shake things up. Like really, if you're looking for a shakeup in your life, personal life, work life, whatever, like I just want to shake things up, do something new. That's the perfect time to work with an eclipse, a lunar eclipse.
I do have a fun eclipse story.
Oh, yeah, share.
Okay. So it was a couple of years ago. So it would have been maybe like 2021, into 2021, beginning of 2022. Somewhere in there, we had a full lunar eclipse where here in Arizona, we could see it 100%. And so we got out in the backyard with Colin's telescope because it was when eclipse happens, the moon turns blood red. And so we were sitting out there waiting for the eclipse to come to fullness. Yeah. And I got this thing like, hey, go meditate. And I was like, all right. So I went and sat in my little bed for meditation and I started meditating. And I remember distinctly the whole meditation, which is another weird thing, like considering this was so many years ago.
Yeah.
But like it started out, I was just in this black void. And I was sitting there and I leaned forward and like fell into the black void and just started like tumbling in this meditation.
Wow.
And when I regained kind of like, and I was kind of floating, you know, when I stopped flipping and my guides came and all this, but at the end of this meditation, I literally just reached over to like my arm and peeled off a layer of snake skin, basically. It was like what it was, and like put it on the ground and then peeled off this and like put it on the ground and had like a rebirth. Okay. It was amazing. And then what was even crazier was I came out of meditation and I was like, okay, I've been gone for about 5 minutes. That's what it felt like, maybe 10 at the most.
Yeah.
So I head back outside and Colin's like, where did you go? And I was like, oh, I was just meditating. I was like, well, I was gone for like 10 minutes. He goes, no, you were gone for more than 30.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
Wow.
Did not realize I had been meditating for just open-ended for 30 minutes straight. And I had this amazing, just like, I was shedding old skin off of me. But it came, when it came off, it came off like snake skin.
Yeah.
It was the coolest fucking thing ever.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I think that was probably the beginning of me really diving down into shadow working.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I highly recommend doing stuff. Yeah. And I highly recommend doing stuff during eclipses, even if it's just sitting, because I wasn't doing, you know, no music, no nothing. It was just like I was just sitting in silence, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as we were talking about eclipses, like if we think about it, that's the Earth is lined up with the sun and the moon in various places, right? So if it's a solar eclipse, it's the sun, moon, and us. If it's a lunar eclipse, it's the sun, us, and the moon. But if you think about it, that's the alignment of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in those planetary forms. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It just like I just thought of that as we were talking, and it's like if you have everything lined up like that, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about how in a full moon we have the sun and the moon are aligned with one another. They're in the same sign. And then with a new moon, they're in opposite signs or sister signs. So it's kind of like balancing one another out. So if we're kind of caught in the middle of that balance, whatever that looks like, that's a really cool place to be for magic.
I love that. Yeah, I love that perspective.
Yeah. Well, thank you guides for that one. Yeah, no, I've just always kind of been drawn to the moon, like even before I was practicing and had found my path. It's just so pretty. And I always like if I'm out and about and, the moon's out, I'm like, oh, the moon. It's like cows, moon. So, and I have to respect the fact that the moon never wants to be captured on our phone cameras. Yeah. It's like, you know what, Queen, it's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So some of the ways that I integrate the moon into my life is I think a lot of witches are actually going to laugh at me. Or they might be shocked. I don't know. I don't tend to put crystals out under the moon because I'm like, look, again, if the moon can affect tides, if the moon can make us all wacky, like seriously, the numbers go up at the emergency room during a full moon, then guess what? That energy can penetrate my house and it can charge my crystals. It's fine. Now, no shade to anybody who puts it out or puts moon water out or anything like that. Totally cool. Totally cool. I tend to, when it comes to water, I don't tend to make moon water. I tend to make like storm water or rainwater or that sort of thing. So it's just interesting. But I do love to sit down with some really intentional teas at the full moon and at the new moon. And just kind of take in that element of the water, right, which is aligned with the moon, and just kind of have that connection moment. And it's just so easy. It's little.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, one of the things I learned that I love, and I do love doing when I remember.
That's the thing.
It was somewhere in I think it was one of my Avalon meditations years ago, like a guided meditation to Avalon. But one of the things that you do is you set it in the meditation is you're at the shore of Avalon, and there's like she tells you that there's a little thing with like a little cove with water sitting in it, and the moon is reflecting in that water. Oh, okay. And so you take this cup in the meditation and you scoop up the moon water and then you drink it in the meditation. And it's just something that always sat amazingly with me because I guess as a beginning witch too, you're like, what do I do with moon water? What do I do? Who?
Right.
Like, how do I do this? So a lot of time for me, my full moon practice is literally to just sit outside in my backyard under the full moon. And I just open myself, I just sit there and I make sure that I can see the moon. And I just sit there in complete silence and tune into everything around me and just see if messages drop in. But then I will have a cup of water or a cup of tea or something that I strategically place.
Oh, how cool.
To where I can see the reflection of the moon in the cup. And then for me, that's charging the tea, the cup, the whatever, the liquid in there. And then I sit there and sip that while just leaving myself open. Because for me, the full moon, I don't release at the full moon. I don't.
Yep.
So that's another thing that I love to counteract the TikToks about is you allow the full moon to illuminate what you should, like what you need to release, you know, because just like the sun will shine down and illuminate shadows, the full moon will illuminate shadows as well. So you just sit and allow the full moon to illuminate different areas. You know, I like I said, I sit in like meditation, and then you kind of journal about it, and you're like, oh, this was brought up, and then the next day is technically the waning moon. It's still within the full moon power, but it's technically a waning. Then you can release. Right. Release after that, but allow the full moon to just guide you. Allow the full moon to give you information. Allow the full moon to empower you too, like power up things. Yeah, absolutely. And every once in a while there is a full moon where it's like release on this full moon. That's pretty rare, because I'm of the same opinion. As soon as you taught me that, I was like, oh, and I think I just heard it on your podcast or in a conversation that we were having. Like, that makes total sense. Like, it's at its full power. Why wouldn't we be in our full power? So then when I teach people how to work with the moon, I'm like, you know, at that full moon, like, give your goals or your spells like one final oomph, you know, and then, but do pay attention to what it's illuminating for sure. I love that. And I started paying attention to your kind of like making a mental note whenever your full moon reports would say like this full moon is good for releasing. It was always a water sign.
Okay.
I started making note of it. So if the full moon was in a water sign, especially Cancer, that seemed to be a big one. So if the full moon was in Cancer, that was a really good time to release any pent-up emotions, like anything that's kind of like stored in you. But yeah, I started making note of that.
That's interesting. Well, and that makes a lot of sense too, because that would be in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about holding things up. So then
Capricorn's Earth.
Confuse myself. That's right. Yeah.
So full moon, I know Cancer, Scorpio.
The full moon would be, the full moon would, that's right, Cancer. So we've got a full moon in Cancer coming up.
I have no idea. No. I wait for your reports, and then I know what's
dude.
going on.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. Wow. No, I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, so our new moon is, oh my gosh, I'm going to confuse myself and confuse other
you're doing
people.
The opposite. Yeah. So when the full moon is in a water sign, the new moon is, I don't know that.
Yeah. No. So it's super confusing. I was going to say something and I'm just not going to, because I don't want to confuse anybody. So rather than give you the wrong information, just pay attention to when there's a full moon in Cancer.
Yeah. I don't know when that would be. And I don't know. I don't have a witchy date planner here with me.
I don't have one right in front of me, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That means you just have to read the full moon and the new moon reports on the website.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's how I know what's coming up. Is I just
honestly I know what's coming up because I write them. Like I sit down and I'm like, let's get into the zone and let's figure this out. So, yeah.
Which is another great point, that if you forget a full moon or a new moon or it's perfectly fine. I mean, two seasoned witches here. I forget all the time. Like, and sometimes the only reason, like I said, I even remember is because you write them. And then I'm like, oh, I have to put that on social. I have to post that on Instagram. Shit, did I miss it?
Well, see, and I have it. So like I write it and like, it's like done. And so it's kind of out of my head. But the thing that always tips me off to a full moon is my dog starts acting a little nuts, like a little more nuts than she normally does. And I'm like, what day is it? Oh, full moon.
Yeah.
Yep. That'll do it.
I know I had it for a while there. It was really funny. And he swears that it's coincidental. But Colin, especially during the summer months, we don't get in our hot tub very much at all.
I
It's
can't imagine
stupid.
why.
But if he manages to be like, hey, do you want to get in the hot tub tonight? And I'm like, you know what? That sounds really good. I'm always just sitting there and then looking up and I'm like, son of a bitch, it's a full moon.
Oh, that's funny. He's totally drawn to it. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it's him or if it's like, if he's actually secretly planning it, like, oh, it's the full moon. Let me get Morgan in the hot tub. Like, I don't know what it is.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. No, he probably just like feels it, right? Because we all feel it. So, because I feel like if he planned it, he would let you know. I just feel like he'd just
he would.
I saw it's the full moon, so let's get in the hot tub.
Yeah.
No.
He would.
That's so funny. I love it. No, I just love basking in the full moon. It's just so nice. It kind of feels almost like a shower, which I realize sounds a little wacky. But it does feel like it's just kind of coming down and pouring down over me. And it does align with that water element. So that probably is why.
Do you find that is it pretty consistent for you working, like setting the intentions at the new moon and then powering up at the full moon, or are you more relaxed in your moon magic practice?
I'm pretty relaxed in it. Like, unless I am being super strategic about a launch, then I'm like, whatever. And even so, like, I just recently launched something new and it was in the beginnings of the waning moon phases. I'm like, it's fine. Because you know what? I'm going to be talking about it, and then people are going to start taking action after the new moon and in the waxing. So, and it was interesting. I did it with a client of mine a couple of months ago, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to launch at the full moon." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Not the choice I would have made, but that's what she wanted to do. I'm here for it." And it took a little bit longer for people to kind of tap into what she was doing, but then she started selling her course a little bit closer to the new moon. So it just took a little longer.
Well, yeah, I wonder, because, here in the business world, we know that it takes an average of 12 to 14 touches before a new person will buy from you if you haven't built up that trust,
Right.
So yeah, it takes a lot of time for 12 to 14 touches. So
yeah, it does.
If you're launching at the full moon, you've got those touches within the waning moon. So, so that would be people shedding their, what is the word? I know I should have drank more coffee today. Not convictions, but like their objections to oh, should I spend the money? Oh, should I do this? Oh, should I treat myself? And so they've got to kind of shed those to get through them. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. And it was a pretty transformational course. So it was a lot of like inner work. So I think it made sense for her. Yeah. But normally, like, if you're planning a launch, I'm like, launch it on the new moon. Like, get that energy and enthusiasm going, or if you can start something new, if you start, like, don't hold off on your hobbies, but at the same time, if you want to make it a little more magical, like, start it on the new moon and let that energy and power kind of carry you through the month.
Yeah. And out of curiosity, because I'm assuming you know what this is because I've seen you write about it.
Okay.
What is a void of moon?
Oh, yeah. I was going to bring this up earlier, and my perimenopausal brain went that way. And I'm like, I got to stay here. So a moon is void, of course, when when it's moving from one sign to the other. So these periods of the void can be anywhere from like 10 or 15 minutes to some can be, I've seen some like as long as 6 hours. But the moon, moves through the signs each month and is only in each sign for like 2 or 3 days. I can't remember what the average is. But during that void, of course, the moon is kind of lacking direction. And so if you're like having a big meeting or closing on a house or, doing these big things where you want to feel full of action and alignment, that's not the best time to do it because you get a little foggy, like brain foggy. You're not paying attention to details. you're kind of floating through the space. And it's been interesting because I can't remember who it was, but I actually purchased access to a Google calendar that shows like all the moon phases, all the astrological events, and it actually has like big blocks of time for the void of courses. Or voids of course, I guess. And so most of the time I just kind of ignore it. But I will say, like, there's one coming up this afternoon, and today, like, as the day has progressed, like, I'm feeling it more and more, where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go play.
So that's what it is. So
yeah.
Are you sure it hasn't been like this all day? Because that's
well, okay. Now let me see, actually, because I do remember there was a big old block of time. But to actually, I think this is fun. I'm going to bring up my calendar real quick because this will just kind of illustrate to folks like what that looks like. Today, what? That's not right. Why is here we go. Google Calendar. Oh, my Google must have like updated. Give me one sec.
Oh, I hate when they do that.
I know. I'm getting like all of like the Google News and Google that. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Give me my calendar. I need my calendar. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go into a void, of course, at 4:33 my time. So that's 2:33 your time today. And today, this week has not been bad, but there are oh gosh, so next week, Monday, June 23rd, it starts at 3:25 a.m. and then goes through until 10:44 p.m. the next day. So like if we don't have any motivation, June 23rd and 24th, this will come out after that.
Yeah,
that's probably why. We're just like ugh.
And that is a 20th, 21st. No, 20th.
That's a Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, good. I love not having motivation on Mondays.
Yeah.
That's where I set up my whole week.
Yeah. And then we go into the moon will be in Cancer, and our new moon will be on Wednesday, the 25th.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've just always wondered. I see it. And at one point in my this would have been probably 2021, 2022 maybe. I purchased a business calendar thing for spiritual entrepreneurs where you purchased her calendar and it overlaid onto my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And it gave you all the things like that. But then she had put notes next to it. So it was like, oh, here's the void, of course, and it was like, do not launch anything under this and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I just always was like, I have no fucking clue what that means.
Yeah. It's moving between those aspects, and so it feels ungrounded, I guess you could say, in itself. So yeah, it's a good time to take a break, release.
And then also, out of curiosity, what moon phase were you born under?
I was born under the waxing moon.
Okay, so then do you find that you have more energy during a waxing moon than like the average person?
I do, and it's independent of my menstrual cycle, which is interesting. So I can be in like a luteal phase in my body and be in a waxing moon phase, and I am still just like bouncing off the walls and going. I don't sleep well around the full moon, all that. So yeah. What about you?
I was born on a full moon.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I forgot that. Yes.
If there was any kind of guess as to which moon phase I was born under. So yeah, and that's one thing. I guess years ago, I taught a class in the Coven about the magic of you and figuring out as much of your personal synchronicities and stuff like that. And that was one of the things that actually was eye-opening for me.
Yeah. Was
I started charting it because during full moons, I don't get crazy. I don't get exhausted. I am like, I can get 10 things done in 10 minutes. Like I supercharge during a full moon. Even more so during my dominant element, which is fire and air. but mostly fire. So if any of the full moons fall under fire signs,
Yeah.
I don't sleep. Like I literally sleep 4 to 5 hours a night. I'm go, 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 go. And I think if you can figure that out, if you can, look up what the moon phase was when you were born, start to chart that, start to chart your ebbs and flows of energy, then like I used to feel shame. Like, and I used to like lay in bed and be like, no, Morgan, sleep. Go back to sleep, Yeah. And then when I started charting my own personal energy flow and I was like, nope, this is a high energy time for me, I could function on less.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't have shame over it anymore. I work with that energy, when it's the full moon. And during the new moon, I'm dead.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's me. Yeah. I'm dead during a new moon. Yeah. So that's when I'm like, no, I'm going to go lay in bed and hibernate. You all have fun.
Yeah. And see, for me, it's kind of more in the between. Like right now, I'm just like, can we fucking get through it? Because then I hit the new moon and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then as we go towards the full moon, I'm like, let's do it. Go, 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 go. And I feel really good. I feel really aligned. And then after the full moon, I'm like, well, shit. Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find like my mood is elevated during the waxing moon phases versus the waning.
So that makes sense. Didn't you say we have a new moon coming up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. That's why I'm just like,
and it's the new moon in Cancer.
Oh, yeah. I have no water in my chart at all. So we're just... Yeah, this is just going to be a fun time for me. I'm going to be low energy just all over the place. And not to use it as an excuse either. Like, that's why chart your own. You'll figure it out. If you just like write down in your date planner or like if you have a date planner app that you use, just like write down at the end of your day when you're laying in bed, like, oh, low energy today. And you'll start to see. You'll start to see your own ebbs and flows.
Yeah. And it's not, like you were saying, it's not an excuse. It's an explanation, though.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like drained or sad or weird or whatever, it may not be you. It may maybe the moon, honestly. Blame the moon.
And you can tailor things around it to reduce shame, to reduce guilt, to reduce all of that kind of stuff. Because if I'm low energy right now, then do low energy things. Like, especially, like I learned that in business too. So that's when I'm kind of doing research for products, but when I'm high energy, I'm creating content, I'm creating products, I'm doing all of that. But when I'm low energy, I'm probably down some rabbit hole somewhere, but I'm researching for something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh, good topic.
So good. Yay, this went all over the place and I learned something today.
I know. Same. I'm going to look for more loopholes and spells. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yay. Well, we have a card. Let's see. Not even going to shuffle because it's not like a tarot deck. What is your Mount Rushmore? Pick your top 4 of bread-based foods. So your top 4 bread-based foods.
Noodles is number 1.
Yeah.
I don't care what shape or size. Noodles. That is. I don't care what's on the noodles. I can eat them not quite plain, but just with butter and garlic. I'm good.
I love it. Yeah.
That's number 1.
Butter and salt noodles.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. See, now we're getting into like cake, pie, donut. I do love a good donut too. And bread. I mean, just bread.
Right. Is there a specific type of bread you really love?
I think I like just a multigrain.
Yeah.
Like something with seeds and nuts and all kinds of crazy shit in it. That makes me pretty happy. But again, garlic, if we can put some garlic on it too.
Yeah.
Garlic bread. Yeah, and then I'll do like a donut, which I think constitutes that. are there more bread things after that? I'm sure there are, because it's top 4. Because I'm not like a huge cereal eater, or I do like a good cake too.
See, I think that's 4 then.
Okay.
Right? So it's like noodles and then like a good multigrain bread.
Yeah, donuts and cake.
Donuts and cake. Yeah. So mine would be bread pudding. I'm such a Southern girl. Like, give me some good bread pudding. I think donuts would be on there too, because I like it. If a donut is good, it is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. I love like a salty, oily, like rosemary focaccia bread. They're so good. And then like my little 4 ingredient bread that I make at home is just so damn good, because you can make it sweet, you can make it savory, you can just cut a piece of it when it's still warm and it's just springy, and it is just like a standard make it at home loaf of white bread, and that's just it. I love it.
No, so that's a girl dinner. Like, my favorite girl dinner is just like bread and cheese.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And if I'm feeling super fancy, I'll cut up an apple or have a couple strawberries in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I always have to put like a little extra so that I can share with my dog, because she loves a good girl dinner. And she loves carbs. She is all about the bread and the crackers and all that. So I always have to like a little extra.
I love that. That was Aria. Aria loved especially pizza crust.
Oh, yes. I saw somebody on TikTok call those pizza bones for their dog. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So now Trudy gets pizza bones sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks so much for listening, y'all. You can find us online in various places. We have a Patreon that is free currently, and that is at Two Witches Talking. We are also on Instagram at Two Witches Talking. And you can email us your responses to episodes, questions, comments, your witchy stories, your spells that went well or did not go well at TwoWitchesTalkingPod@gmail.com. And then you can watch the full videos over on Morgan's YouTube at Inked Goddess Creations. And then just go see podcasts and you'll find us right there. So I think I hit all the bases.
All of the things, yes.
All the things. So yes, please like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends. And thanks for being here and listening to us chatter along with all things magical.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. See y'all later.